Dear listeners, I have a very interesting story for you today. It will help you in your listening practice. Not only that, but I am sure it will leave you inspired and motivated. The title of today's tale is From Dust to Diamonds. Get ready to hear a story of determination, love, and the extraordinary power of perseverance. This is the tale of Ethan Carter, a boy born into humble beginnings who would one day rise to unimaginable heights without ever forgetting where he came from. And hear how it goes. Ethan was born in the small town of Willowbrook, a place where the streets were narrow. The air carried the scent of baked bread and wet earth, and dreams often struggled to survive. His family lived in a crumbling house at the edge of town, its walls thin enough to let the winter chill seep through, its roof patched with tarps and old metal sheets. Ethan's father, Thomas Carter, had once been a skilled carpenter, but a series of bad injuries and a downturn in work had left him scraping by with daily labor. His mother, Margaret, sold pastries and bread at the local market, her hands perpetually covered in flour. Despite their hardships, they did their best to shield Ethan and his younger siblings, Lucas and Ella, from despair. From an early age, Ethan knew life would demand everything from him. He watched his father labor in the scorching sun and his mother rise before dawn, baking bread while exhaustion pulled at her eyelids. One day this will change, he told himself, silently vowing to make a difference for his family. School became his escape. Ethan was fascinated by learning math, science, literature, anything that opened a window to a larger world. While his classmates had neat notebooks and brand new pens, Ethan often wrote with stubby pencils and secondhand paper. Still, he excelled, impressing teachers with his curiosity, problem-solving skills, and boundless determination. It was during his early teenage years that Ethan met Sophia Blake. Sophia was unlike anyone he had ever met, bright, confident, and curious about the world. She came from a more comfortable background, her father owning a small grocery store in town. But she was kind and unpretentious, and soon a friendship blossomed between them. Sophia didn't judge Ethan for his ragged clothes or patched shoes. Instead, she admired his intelligence, ambition, and quiet strength. Over time, that friendship deepened into something neither of them could ignore, a gentle, steady romance that gave Ethan both joy and motivation. Life, however, remained unforgiving. There were days when the family went without dinner, nights when the cold pierced their thin blankets, and moments when Ethan doubted if he could ever escape this cycle. But each time he saw his siblings' hungry faces or his mother's tired smile, he clenched his fists and said, "I will find a way, I have to." Ethan took on every possible job to contribute. He delivered newspapers, washed dishes, cleaned shops, and even assisted in construction sites. He worked tirelessly, saving every penny for books, tuition, and his dream of a better life. And even in exhaustion, he never let his studies slide. He would return home late at night, exhausted and grimy, only to spend hours reading by candlelight or scribbling notes and equations in his worn notebooks. One afternoon, while studying at the library, Ethan discovered computers. It was like discovering a hidden world, one that promised infinite possibilities. He taught himself programming from discarded manuals, online tutorials, and sheer experimentation. His curiosity and persistence led him to develop a small project, a mobile application to help farmers track crops, monitor sales, and predict harvest yields. It wasn't perfect, but it was innovative. Fate intervened one spring morning when a tech entrepreneur, Mr. Gregory Halloway, visited Willowbrook to explore opportunities for rural development. He noticed Ethan's application during a local school demonstration. Impressed by the boy's ingenuity, he offered Ethan a scholarship to study technology in the city, promising to cover tuition and living expenses. The news thrilled Ethan and terrified him. The city was enormous, intimidating, and far removed from the simple streets he knew. But he remembered his promise to his family and his own restless heart. He accepted. City life was overwhelming. The noise, the skyscrapers, the endless crowds, everything was unfamiliar. Ethan struggled academically at first, trying to keep pace with students from wealthy backgrounds who had access to tutors, private schools, and technology at their fingertips. Nights were spent in a tiny, shared apartment with flickering lights, coding projects, and working freelance to pay bills. Yet Sophia remained his anchor. Their love, nurtured across letters, calls, and weekend visits, gave Ethan strength. She reminded him of home, of comfort, and of the life he envisioned. "We'll get through this," she told him one night, holding his hands as he wrestled with doubts. "I believe in you, Ethan. You have to believe in yourself too." Years passed, Ethan's perseverance paid off. He created a software platform that streamlined operations for small businesses, a platform that combined simplicity, efficiency, and affordability. Investors quickly noticed his work, and soon he was able to start his own tech company. From that moment on, his life began to transform. Despite the rapid changes, Ethan never forgot his roots. He sent money home to support his parents, ensuring their house was rebuilt and comfortable. He invested in his siblings' education, allowing Lucas and Ella to pursue their own dreams. And he kept Sophia close, marrying her in a modest but heartfelt ceremony, surrounded by family, friends, and neighbors who had watched their journey. Business success brought new challenges: long hours, critical decisions, and the constant pressure to grow. Ethan worked harder than ever, but each achievement brought satisfaction and the knowledge that he had earned it. Slowly, luxury began to seep into their lives. A spacious apartment overlooking the city skyline, elegantly furnished rooms filled with light and the freedom to travel. They dined at fine restaurants occasionally, attended galas, and hosted friends in a home that was once unimaginable. Yet for Ethan and Sophia, luxury was never the goal. They valued humility, kindness, and connection over wealth. Every night, Ethan would sit by the window, reflecting on the dusty streets of Willowbrook, the family's struggles, and the countless nights he spent wondering if he would ever make it. And every night he felt gratitude for his parents' sacrifices, Sophia's unwavering love, and the resilience he had discovered within himself. Ethan also began mentoring young innovators and entrepreneurs, reminding them of the lessons he had learned. Your beginnings do not define your ending. Every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night, it's shaping you. Dream, work, and never fear failure. And remember, wealth is not just in money, it's in love, family, and the lives you touch along the way. Sophia and Ethan's love grew alongside their success. Together, they traveled to cities, explored opportunities, and lived comfortably, but they never lost sight of the values that had carried them. Their children grew up hearing stories of determination, courage, and love, the same stories that had shaped Ethan's youth. And so, the boy who had once run barefoot along dusty streets, struggling to survive, became a man of vision, success, and heart. He had risen from rags to riches, faced adversity, embraced love, and created a life that balanced luxury with humility. And though his life was now filled with comfort, he always carried the spark of ambition, compassion, and resilience that had fueled his journey. The end. Thank you for listening. Hope it was touching and made you feel inspired. Keep listening, and if you like our stories, subscribe now.